to Confidence with Coffee. I'm Heather,
And my name is Ryan.
and we are so happy to have you here, Ryan. We're launching another podcast interview today with the gorgeous Winanda.
Yeah,
Before we do that, have you got your coffee?
I do. I have my coffee. I have my coffee. Woo.
Nice. What are you drinking?
I am drinking one of the Taylor's Italian Robust
Uh,
flavors. Very nice. Yeah,
Very
what are
nice.
you drinking?
I have I think it's called Sunday Blend, something along those lines.
Oh,
It's something very cheap from the local co-op, but it's
oh,
caffeine. So hey, cheers.
absolutely.
So today we are talking to the lovely Winanda, who is
Yeah.
part of the Confidence Through Cabaret community on Facebook. And Winanda's talking to us about mindset, but specifically in relation to food and how we use food and how we how we kind of honor our bodies.
Mm,
And I've done quite a lot of work with teenagers around self-esteem and food,
mhm.
and fitness, and and all of the pieces that go together. And I think it's quite flippant when some governments say eat less, move more. It's
Uh-huh.
like it's really that straightforward. Do you know, we have lots of us, not all of us, but lots of us have quite complicated relationships with food.
Mhm.
And I think it wasn't until I was an adult that like quite far into adulthood, that I started to understand my relationship with food, because I was using food as a resource for lots of things. So I was using food for emotion. I was using food when I was alone. I was using food, you know, almost in a revenge way, kind of thing, like pushing stuff down. And it's not what you eat, it's why you eat in a lot of cases,
Right, right.
you
Yeah.
know? And I think when I started to change my relationship with food was around um, recognizing, am I hungry here, or am I hungry in my stomach?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I'm hungry in my stomach, I should eat,
Right.
and then I can choose. And hopefully we don't wait till we get to the point where we just need to have something, anything.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're at the point where we can stay, okay, I'm hungry in my stomach and I should make these choices. This is what I'm
Yeah.
hungry for. But a lot of times the way I use food was when I was hungry here, and I would be saying, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to go to bed, let me have some sugar.
Right, right. Yeah.
Or I'm mad, let me just shove that down,
Mm,
and it wasn't really anything to do with my stomach, it was all about here and here,
yeah. And it doesn't have to
uh,
be, it can be interchangeable, right? It's like that can be like, I mean, I certainly have a controlled relationship with food, but there's other ways of doing it. Smoking is another one. There's another way of channeling that energy.
Yeah, and I think, if we're making conscious choices and we're aware of why we're making those choices,
Hmm.
then we can decide.
Yeah,
Caffeine is my drug of choice.
sure.
I know that I should be drinking water. I do have a bottle of water here next to me, but I'm always going to pick up. I'm not going to touch the water until my coffee's gone. But I know I've considered that, and I'm aware of that, and I've made that choice. And I
Yeah.
think that's fine if you're going to have a piece of cake or some pop chips, which I had earlier.
Mhm.
Um,
That's it.
but I think if you know why you're eating those, and you have considered it and you still choose it, then you get to eat more slowly, and you get to taste, and you get to really enjoy it.
Hmm.
And I know when I have not done that, because I eat it really, really fast. And then I can, like, it's almost like, oh, quick, or she won't notice. Like,
Right. Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of times our relationship with food it needs to be reconsidered.
Hmm.
Let's have a listen to what Winanda. We'll just have like a little quick snippet of what Winanda has to say when we interviewed her around mindset and food.
So many things have shifted in my life since then, and I started to lose weight as well, even when I wasn't specifically trying to lose weight. And I was like, everybody should know this, like every woman should know this, every woman should be confident in their bodies and should be focusing on mindset instead of diets and on pills and spending thousands of dollars or euros on supplements that don't work and programs that don't work. It all comes from within. So when it really started. And now I expanded it with my own podcast, also called The Pursuit of Healthiness. And yeah, it's doing great. Like I love just spreading the word about mindset and being happy and healthy. And yeah, it's lighting my day up. And I see people around me that are becoming happier and healthier because of the things that I teach and the things that I say and guide them with and support them with. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And there's some wonderful points made in that interview about, she gives us lots of tips, like, like journaling, like, really repositioning, if you do have a snack. She uses the example of a cookie,
Right.
that you haven't ruined the whole day. So it doesn't give you permission to just, scarf food all day just because you had that one cookie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think sometimes we weaponize our relationship with food.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well that there's, as Winanda sort of says in that little clip, she talks about the idea that there's lots of different other people's perspectives and other people's drives that kind of get tied up, especially into food, because of how we've mobilized with it as a society. I think there's a lot of stuff that's in there about how we take control back for ourselves and learning to become clear, not only, as you say, it's like on those intentions, like what's the impulse here? Is this something that's ingrained into me because I've been feeling like this, or because I've been told to feel like this? Is that is that something you've had to deal with, this idea of like society's idea of how that should go?
Yeah, and I think, especially when you, well, no, I was going to say, especially when we get to certain ages, but actually at different ages there are different kind of thought processes around how we compare ourselves or what we're supposed to be. I think when we're younger, often a lot of us, kind of compare ourselves to others or to the image of the media, and that's more and more with boys or males as well as female bodies. But I think, as we get older, then we have to go through a lot of us have to go through a reacceptance of things that our body will do that or won't do that it used to or didn't used to. And I think, we kind of have to, really re-embrace how we look and how we accept ourselves. And that's an ongoing practice. Like any practice, it's a daily practice. And I love when Winanda talks about, she just struggled with how she felt about her body. And then she's talking about, she's in the gym one day and she's saying, but my legs are strong. And you start from those small things that you like and you work your way up.
Oh, fully.
And I think, in the clip that we just heard, Winanda's talking about how, when you change that one part of your mindset and then you start to change your mindset, your perspective changes. And so in 2020, she talks about they had less income, but they had more money than ever because they didn't need all the things that would fill the spaces. And I think a lot of us look for ways to suppress, feeling fear or sadness or loss of some sort, and so we just look for external things, and that includes food.
Right.
And I think when you get a handle on one part, it gets easier to get a handle on other parts. And in Winanda's case, it's changed her relationship, it's changed her financial situation or the perspective of it. It's changed her perspective of her body. And I think we all need to embrace our body. But actually, I think for some women, it's, I don't know if I really want to say this. Is this true? I think for some women, for some men, let's start there. For some male bodies, there is a sense of entitlement. I'm not saying it's true, but there is a sense that it's true.
Right.
That I get to be how I am, and that's just it.
Sure.
I'm not saying for all male bodies, and I'm certainly not saying certainly for younger generations that is changing. to some degree. But I think, certainly in my generation, men are just kind of how they are, and they work on that, and but they start from okay, I'm here, I'd like to be there, so let's do that. And it's not quite that easy. I get it.
No.
But I think for women, there is, even between women, for a lot of us, there's a dialogue, and maybe it depends on what culture you're in, but there's this dialogue of we're supposed to dislike something.
Right.
So it's like somebody goes, "Oh, your hair looks great today." You go, "Yeah, I know, but look at this. Look at my arms," or look at, you know what I mean? It's like we have to deface ourselves somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure, and I could be wrong because I'm not a man. I could be wrong, but I'm not so sure that men have those same conversations between them that women do.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'm not saying they don't feel it. I'm not saying that they don't think those things. I'm just saying that women, there's a sense of pressure to say yes, but this is wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And even and even amazing performers who are in their peak condition will still say, "Oh, I don't like this about me."
Yeah, absolutely. It's always the constant adage of, someone who, for all ostensibly could be seen as a vision of perfection in whatever version of themselves they're putting forward, will often come and say that, "Oh, but I only got this bit from here. Oh, but I only did this. Oh, but," and it's always like you have to put yourself under. You can't be proud of something you've done. You can't even be happy about something that you don't even, necessarily even have control of. You have to denigrate it.
Yeah. I think some of that's geographical culture. I think some of that is kind of our programming from when we're younger, which comes from lots of different places, certainly from our peers, and then therefore their families, and our education system, and our own families and their relationship. I know that because I grew up in Canada, so in our household, dinner wasn't usually pre-dished up. It was kind of, the food was on the table and we dished up. So you take what you want, but you eat what you take.
Right.
So the temptation was to take less, and then you can go back for more. And that's certainly how I tried to do things with my children. So it's kind of like, check in with yourself. It takes 20 minutes for you to digest your food, for your body to tell your brain, or your stomach to tell your brain that you are full. So if you scarf your food really, really fast and then go and have another helping and another helping, another helping, you're going to find that you have this massive food baby feeling, and that's not so comfortable. And so my relationship with food was quite different to when I came here. And then my mother-in-law always dished things up, and I felt like I had to, well, in fact, I was expected to eat what I was given. And that was quite a different relationship. It took quite a bit of re-educating, and disturbed their family a little bit. But I think, I think that a lot of us have programming in us. My parents had grown up with parents who were from the Depression, so food was a scarcity and it was to be valued, and so my mother insisted that we appreciate vegetables, and the more that I didn't want vegetables, the more she pushed it, and the more I pushed back.
Right.
And so we would be at a stalemate. And so I still don't like the little new potatoes, the little lovely kind of sweet ones.
Yeah.
I eat them. I enjoy them. My head goes, "No, you don't. That's the one your mother made you eat." And it's that kind of like and now I'm an adult. I don't have to eat new potatoes if I don't want to eat new potatoes. And because it was a battle all the way through my childhood with a lot of vegetables, I had to learn to actually really taste them. And I think, with those kind of things, that's one thing. But then when you add on that you don't accept your body, or you're supposed to be a certain way because you think that, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And so we'll close by saying, and we'll come back to an amazing point that Winanda makes in just a second, but do like the YouTube, do subscribe, do check out Confidence Through Cabaret community on Facebook, do check out the podcast on Podbean and everywhere else where you get podcasts.
Spotify, iTunes, we are everywhere.
And have a listen to what Winanda has to say. But I just want to come back to a beautiful piece of advice that Winanda talks about, which is really find something in your body that you like about your body and grow from there. We always say in Confidence Through Cabaret, start from where you're strong.
Yeah.
So Ryan, What's a part of your body that you really appreciate?
I love my arms. Love them. Love my arms. They are beautifully tattooed and I love them. They are adorned. I love them. What about yourself?
I appreciate my very strong legs.
Yes.
I can't like them yet because they're
Right.
not how I want them to be, and they never will be because they're never going to be really long and skinny like I want them to be. But I appreciate them because they
Right.
are strong and hold me up and they allow me to do aerial work.
Yeah.
But I like my hair.
Yay.
I know that's ridiculous because it's
No,
like,
not at all.
but I do like it, and I appreciate my legs, and that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to what we love about ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the Winanda podcast, she will take you through that. It's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
So thank you for joining us.
thank you. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. So we are Confidence Through Cabaret, and this is Confidence with Coffee, and we are reminding you that it is
Your body, your world,
world.
your
And
stage. Wow.
thank you for joining us. Thank you. Like, follow us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.